Good evening, all respected seniors, dear friends and colleagues. It's a real pleasure to be here in this glaucoma conclave, and I thank Dr. Gaurav Luthra, Dr. Saurabh Luthra, Dr. Amardeep, everybody involved in this wonderful session. So I will be talking about trabeculectomy surgery, and it is primarily video based. So we all know that दूसरा वाला लगा दीजिएगा ट्रैबिक्युलेक्टमी एक और होगा ना. So we all know that trabeculectomy is the gold standard glaucoma surgery, and in any case where we are stuck up, medications are unable to control, lasers are not acting, in all those cases, नहीं ये वाला नहीं, दूसरा एक और होगा. हाँ ये yes. So trabeculectomy is the gold standard surgery because it causes better diurnal control of intraocular pressure. It is effective in preventing the disease progression, and success rate is very good with trabeculectomy surgery. So what are the indications when we are unable to achieve target intraocular pressure, or there are problems with medical management, like if there is progression of glaucoma, or there are adverse effects or poor compliance from the patient, or there is difficult affordability and poor availability of the drugs, and of course difficult follow-up. So regarding anesthesia, we can go for peribulbar or retrobulbar anesthesia, but it is better to avoid putting a pinky ball on the surface of eye, because already the eye is compromised, the optic nerve head is compromised. So better to give intermittent digital pressures rather than putting a pinky ball after anesthesia. Of course, general anesthesia is required for children and uncooperative individual, but nowadays we can go for topical anesthesia also along with intracameral anesthesia. So if the exposure of eye is not very good, initially we used to go for superior rectus suture, but because that buttonholes the conjunctiva, and therefore we go for corneal stay sutures that causes the good exposure of eye. But in case your eye is nicely exposed, now the speculums are such available, they can expose the eye very nicely, and because patient is under topical anesthesia, you can always ask patient to look down. Therefore, like in this particular case, I gave subtenons anesthesia and continued without any corneal stay suture. So whenever you are dissecting the conjunctiva, you have to be very meticulous. You need to release all the adhesion. Try to hold from tenons, because conjunctiva is extremely sacred tissue. We don't want to damage any conjunctiva. Gentle cauterization is very important. We don't want to damage too much of conjunctiva sclera. Now you can mark 4x4 with the help of your calipers, and then take a 15-degree blade or a side port instrument to mark horizontal line, just as we do for our small incision cataract surgery. Then the crescent knife is very helpful in dissecting a nice partial thickness scleral tunnel, and therefore once you have dissected it, then make a side port, because we want slow decompression of globe. Put air, you can put a bit of viscoelastic also. If pupil is dilated, like in this particular case, I inject meotic pilocarpine and then again form the chamber. We don't want any shallowing of anterior chamber during the trabeculectomy surgery. Then you have to cut sideways the partial thickness sclera, so that you have a partial thickness scleral flap. You need to identify the junction of gray and white where you have to enter the anterior chamber. So here, while entering, just see that you are entering in the anterior chamber and not going behind the iris. Take sclerostomy punch, which is available in 0.5 and 0.75. You can cut twice or thrice and then do iridectomy. We don't want any iris to block the ostium, and ask your assistant to hold the partial thickness scleral flap. So now check that I am injecting the viscoelastic, so there is no shallowing of anterior chamber, and then you check the ostium that it is patent. If iris is blocking, you need to enlarge the iridectomy. If not, then you proceed with your suturing. So regarding suturing, if you have availability of laser suturolysis, you can put non-releasable sutures, otherwise you can put releasable sutures. So here I am putting this non-releasable suture. It is important to bury the knots because the knots, they act as a nidus for fibrous tissue to grow. We don't want any subconjunctival fibrosis, and therefore we have to bury the knots. Now I am putting 2 sutures at the top of the quadrangular flap which I have made. Again, reforming the anterior chamber in between with air or viscoelastic. Check that the pressures are neither too tight nor too low, and the fluid which is coming out from the superior area should be adequate. Air should not be coming out. Now as I inject here, you might see that the air is slightly coming out, and that here you can see the air has come out. That means the sutures are not adequately tightened. So if air is leaking, that means you need to put 1 or 2 more sutures so that fluid comes out. First the chamber deepens, the fluid comes out, but the air should not. So I decided to put 1 more suture here, horizontal suture. This is important to prevent post-operative shallowing of anterior chamber, because if you need to take patient to a second time to operation theatre, even if it is just reforming of anterior chamber, that is a great amount of trauma for the patient. Therefore, you titrate the wound onto the table so that there is no shallowing in the post-operative period. So I have put 1 more suture over here, and now once I am sure that yes, now the air is not leaking, I am closing the conjunctiva. Now closure of conjunctiva is extremely important because we don't want, again, the bleb should form nicely, so it should be a watertight closure. So taking a partial thickness scleral bite is important so that the conjunctiva doesn't recede posteriorly. And so I am putting, this is 1 wing shaped suture at the one side, and the second wing suture I would be putting here at the edge of the other, at the edge of where I have cut the conjunctiva. So this is the second one, again taking partial thickness scleral bite and then making it tight. Now here again it is important to bury the knots, because we know that the knots, they again act as a nidus for infection to happen. Therefore again once you have tightened the knots, you have to bury them into the sclera or conjunctiva. So you can see the horizontal line which is here, this area. Now the horizontal line at the limbus is very, very important. That indicates that there is adequate tightening of wound. If you can't see that line, that means the conjunctiva is loosened and that can recede, and that the fluid can leak from the limbus and the bleb will not form. And therefore the horizontal line which you are seeing at the limbus is extremely important, and as an indicator that yes, it is adequate tightening of the wound. So now I am putting 1 more suture over there where I have cut the conjunctiva, nicked the conjunctiva so that it is a watertight closure. And after that you again inject fluid from the side and see that bleb is forming nicely. So with this the surgery is complete. Now here you can see a small area of gap, and tenons is protruding, so you can cut the tenons, and you can again put 1 suture over there, again emphasizing the watertight closure. This is followed by subconjunctival injection. It is always advisable to give antibiotic steroid. I also put 0.1 ml of atropine subconjunctivally. That dilates the pupil nicely in post-operative period and chamber forms nicely. So just wanted to show that how to put releasable suture. Now here once I am putting this, you have to put 4 throws to your needle holder. So once you have put 4 throws, you pull the loop of the Tenno suture and then just tighten it. So that way it is a releasable suture and that can be released in post-operative period. So this is just to show the horizontal line at the limbus, which is important indicator. And so the carry home message is that gold standard glaucoma surgery, of course, it's the trabeculectomy, and if done meticulously, it gives wonderful results in our patients. I would like to seek your blessings, vote and support for member scientific committee in forthcoming AIS election. Thank you so much for your kind attention.